This episode is sponsored by BetterHelp. The holidays are over, the decorations are down, and suddenly everything feels a little empty. It's normal to feel the winter blues after the holiday excitement. January, February, and March are by far my least favorite months of the year. It's cold and dark, and I have to get some extra vitamin D on board. I also need to keep my regular scheduled appointments with my therapist. So if you're feeling that post-holiday funk, I definitely suggest you checking out BetterHelp because maybe it's time to talk. You might also be one of those people like me who makes New Year's resolutions and you get super motivated. So maybe you need someone behind you to hold you accountable and come up with a plan to meet your goals. BetterHelp is super convenient, totally online. You have a therapist right at your fingertips whenever you need them. So head over to betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/wifeofcrime1 for 10% off your first month.
More Chumba Casino fan mail. Love this. It says, Dear Ryan, I love Chumba Casino. They're so much fun. I love the wild ride from the social slots to the slingo to jackpots quicker than a 6-time real spin. Everybody's finding their fun at Chumba Casino. Why don't you find out for yourself? Head to ChumbaCasino.com and enjoy hundreds of casino-style games for free with your welcome bonus. Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18 plus terms and conditions apply.
This podcast is an unscripted, unedited conversation about true crime. We take the cases very seriously, but I don't take myself seriously at all, and neither should you. Welcome to Wife of Crime.
So Russ, the story I'm telling you today, it's pretty well known. I mean, they even made a movie about it. But it's crazy. It's a crazy story about how the FBI got way in over their heads when they sent a man named Joe Pistone to go undercover with the mafia. He spent 6 years infiltrating the Bananno crime family. And what transpired is just too good to not tell you. This is the case of Donnie Brasco. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Wife of Crime.
Believe it or not, we're back.
We
We told him we was coming back a previous time, and we didn't come back. But now this one's back on time.
Great. I was in the middle of saying this is Jess, and you interrupted me.
That's my job. This is Russ.
And this is Jess. And we're back, like he said. I have a little bit of a cold today. I'm actually wearing a Breathe Right strip to do this.
Yeah, she looks like she's trying to play in the NFL and score a touchdown over here.
It's just because I didn't want to sound too nasally for this recording. But, you know, life happens. Thank God I don't think I have the Rona. I think I just have a regular old cold. Nice winter cold.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Right? Oh my God, that meme was so funny that we did with Sweet Brown. People loved it. I love Sweet Brown.
Maybe we can get her on the show. If anyone knows Sweet Brown, tell her to hit us up.
I tagged her in the meme that we posted, but no response.
She probably doesn't even really use Instagram. She's kind of an old head.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure she doesn't. So, we're back. This week, I have a really cool story, and I'm excited to tell Russ about it and you guys about it.
All right, we have an announcement. Jess is beating around the bush. We finally have a Patreon.
Yes, we do. We have a Patreon. And I was going to say that it's going to go along with the theme of this week's episode. And that's why we're announcing it this week. It's because our Patreon is mafia themed. It's called The Crime Family.
Yeah, so it's called, what is it called? Wife of Crime.
The Crime Family.
The Crime Family.
Because of mafia, you know, mafias have crime families. So we wanted to make our own crime family. And you can go to patreon.com/wifeofcrimepod to check out our Patreon. You can also find it by just going to patreon.com and searching Wife of Crime, and it'll pop up.
So we're going to do some extra content on there. There are 4 levels. The extra content is going to be called True Crime and Chill. That's where me and Jess go watch a documentary on not just Netflix, but, a true crime documentary or something very related. And then we jump on there and we give you our opinion on the case. And, Jess might be buzzed because she doesn't have to,
I'm so
say her
excited
script
about
and
that.
stuff.
I'm honestly so excited about that because it's a lot of work for me to write this script. And when I'm doing the podcast normal episodes, I can't drink because if I do, I'll forget where I'm at and then I'll, slur my words. My speech is the first thing to go whenever I get drunk. So I have to tell the story good. So I never drink too much. I have 3 sips of wine while Russ sits here and gets super buzzed.
You know what else is the first thing to go when you're drinking?
What?
The ability to hold your tongue. You're always messing with me.
So I'm excited to be kind of, off the cuff. I'm going to pull a Russ in these things. I'm going to just talk off the cuff, not be scripted, not be edited.
I'm scared.
It'll be really fun.
So also, I think Jess is probably excited about this because I'll actually sit down and watch a documentary with her. I don't really watch documentaries. She's like, what? Let's watch a true crime documentary. And I'm like, no. So now I have to sit down. I'm not really trying to do any of those series. I don't like the series where it's 9 parts. They're 2 hours each. It's just tons of fluff. Tell it to me in a half hour, an hour.
They'll be longer than a half hour. Probably be like an hour,
Yeah, probably hour and a half. Except Don't Fuck with Cats. That one was funny as fuck.
That one was a good one. Do you think we should talk about Don't Fuck with Cats? We literally have to rewatch it because I think we watched it at Christmas time last year, and you probably don't remember it because you don't have a good memory.
And that one was long too, but what I would do possibly is Tiger King. That's funny.
Did you watch Tiger King?
Most of it.
Oh, okay. I watched the whole thing. So yeah, we're gonna do True Crime and Chill, and I'm excited about it because I get to be just regular and not have to script anything. So that's fun. And yeah, it'll be a good time. And we're going to have our regular commentary on it, on the whatever documentary we're watching. And then we're going to rate the documentary and give you guys a rating. So I'm going to let you know
on a scale of how the documentary is. Because it depends on how you say it with the, inflection in your voice. Like if someone says, yo, how was that? It's all right. But if someone says, how was that? You're like, yo, that was all right. That means it was good. The first one was trash.
I can't get away with it because I'm not a true New Yorker. I've lived here for 12 years, but I don't have the New York accent.
So on the scale of all rights, Jess will say it.
Yeah, I would say, all right. I'd say, all right.
It's okay, hun.
Yeah, because I'm from Baltimore, so we say, all right.
All right, so I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the different levels of membership really quick because this is getting long and I'm getting out of breath. So the first one is a Russ Beer Fund. That's the lowest level. And then the next ones are the crime family ones where you're an associate, made man, or...
Consigliere.
Consigliere. I don't know how to
That's like the right-hand man to the boss.
That's spelled weird, and that's the top level, and there's a bunch of perks. Go check it out, and then let us know what you think.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I had a lot of fun making the crime family page. I'm excited.
Good feedback only, though. We don't accept bad feedback.
Yeah, we don't do constructive criticism here. Because the fact is unfortunately, we appreciate the opinions. However, we're probably not going to change.
All right, speaking of constructive criticism... We've been getting a lot of good reviews on, what's this, the Apple thing, the podcast thing.
Yeah.
Which they say helps your algorithm. I didn't even know what algorithm was until we started doing this. But I wanted to read a bad one, which was kind of weird to me. So this one isn't even making fun of me. All of them make fun of me. Even 5-star reviews, one of them's Russ the Growing Moles. They all agree, they hate me.
They do. All of our bad reviews are about you. I mean, it's good for me.
So it's just either they hate me or love me. And it's all right.
You are polarizing. It's very true.
All right, so this one says, can't take the non-factual information and the 5-time recycled cases. Have yet to hear anything original. Nothing interesting, and Russ is usually wrong. I love when they make fun of me. Yawn. So anyway, the recycled cases, how could there be new crimes unless you go commit them?
No, I agree.
We're all just doing the same shit and giving our opinion.
I found it weird too.
So you, Trace, 2827 is probably not listening.
Yeah, she's not listening.
But if you are, go commit a crime, let us know about it, and we'll do it.
It's true. I found that comment
dumb.
I found that comment so weird.
All right, that's enough. And for the rest of you that left bad reviews that are funny about me, I appreciate those. I like humor. But like saying no new cases, like we're not news reporters, you dumbass.
Yeah, we're gonna recycle lots of cases. That's just
like
the nature
no
of
one.
these.
There's no podcast out there now. I might be giving someone an idea that goes and commits crimes and then reports on the crime they just committed. There's no original cases.
How good would that be? Not really good, but it would be funny if you say that and then a podcast comes out and it's like, we're committing crimes and reporting on them.
Yo, that'd be a fire movie. I always come up with good movie ideas.
You do come up with good movie. Russ is notorious for coming up with really good movie ideas.
Yo, if you're a Steven Spielberg, hit me up. If Spielberg, you hear this? Hit me up.
So, to go along.
So I don't got beer this week. I got wine. If you heard that, that was for you.
That was for my pizza.
I got red wine because somewhere someone messaged us one week and said red wine Russ was on fire.
That's true.
I don't really drink a lot of wine, but shout out to you.
That was funny.
And one more shout out.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Oh yeah, you got to shout out Facebook.
My girl Tara May, she bought a hoodie. I told her I was going to shout her out. She bought the True Crime and Show hoodie. It's fire. Everyone get one. And that's it.
All right. So, this week, I'm telling you a mafia story. I love mafia stories. They're probably one of my favorite stories to tell. I went back and listened to our Iceman episode. Fire episode, by the way.
I don't think I ever listened to that one again.
It was so good. I loved it. I loved the Iceman episode. It was really funny. We talk a lot about New York in it, and it was really good. So,
not to toot my own horn or anything.
It was really good.
Humble flex.
I honestly really liked it. So
I hear Jess listens to the episodes this week, and I hear her laughing, and she's laughing at me. But before anybody on this podcast ever said I was funny, she would always tell me, shut up.
Sure. I still tell you to shut up, but sometimes I do go back and listen to things, and at times I was really annoyed in the moment when you said it, but now going back to listen, it was actually pretty funny.
What's really funny is I went back and listened to a couple episodes here and there, and I'm like, I hear myself, I'm like, God damn, Russ, shut up and let her tell the story. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
That's actually really funny to me.
And then I was thinking, I wonder if I was drunk in that, because some I wasn't drunk, straight from work, I just did it, or like during the afternoon, and some I was like really drunk. I was like, God damn, you need to shut up. Hashtag Russ shut up, new one.
That's a good one. Hashtag Russ.
Anything against me is a good one.
Okay, so anyway, I love mafia stories, mob stories. They're one of my favorites. They're not something we can do very often because, a lot of them are really similar. A bunch of dudes extort people for money. They have racketeering. They get, they murder people. It's kind of all the same story. But the Iceman was an amazing story. And the story I'm telling you today is also an amazing story. So I'm going to tell you all about Donnie Brasco.
Yeah, I watched that movie a long time ago.
But I know for a fact you don't know the details.
See, when I knew you was going to do the story, when you told me you was going to do it.
Which I don't typically do.
Well,
but
you tell me you're gonna sometimes, I'm going to do this person, but I never heard of them. Mm-hmm. But I heard of Donnie Brasco. And my first thought was, snitch. But he wasn't a snitch because he was a cop.
Exactly. He was in the FBI, so he's not a snitch.
Yeah, so he's not a snitch. So, snitching is bad. Don't ever snitch.
I'm interested to hear, though, how you feel about this later. Okay, everyone just listen, and then we'll discuss later on as we go how we feel about this situation. Because Donnie Brasco, a.k.a. a guy named Joe Pistone, that's his real name, he got in so close with these guys.
What would your mafia name be? What do you pick? Donnie Brasco?
Well, the FBI picked that for him.
Oh.
They picked that name for him.
I know what your nickname would be.
What?
Jess the Mouth.
I knew it! I knew you were going to say
Jess the Mouth.
I knew it. I don't know what your mafia name would be.
Jessie the Bull, because she doesn't stop. Once she starts, or Jessie the Chihuahua.
I love how in New York, like here in our neighborhood, we hang out at a bar that his sister works at. And there's all kinds, like all these Bronx people, like older Bronx dudes. They have like these nicknames for people. Like there's a guy that hangs out at the bar and they call him Jimmy Two Soups because he gets two soups at a time.
Every time he gets two soups. And he lets one cool off while he likes the other one a little cold. So he's Jimmy Two Soups.
And then there was this guy at another bar I worked at in the neighborhood when I was a bartender, or not a bartender, I was a waitress at this bar, and they called him Money Mike. Like, there's just funny how they have all these nicknames here in New York, and I love it. That's one of the best things about living in the Bronx and being around true New Yorkers is, like, you guys have these weird things that only happen in New York. It's just nowhere else is like this, and it's awesome. I love it.
Well, they need to catch up. We do it right.
That's one of the reasons I love telling mob stories, because there's things like that in there that you can't find anywhere else in the country. So, all right, let's get on with the story. So Operation Sun Apple is the most successful undercover operation in FBI history. It is a fascinating story of how one man used his wit and quick thinking. And he was a quick thinker, Russ. You're really going to appreciate his quick thinking. To infiltrate the Bananno crime family, Joseph Pistone, a.k.a. Donnie Brasco, was an FBI agent from New York City office. Little did he know, the mission that was originally meant to last 6 months would go on to become a 6-year-long ordeal.
Oh, damn. Now, does he not get to see his family for 6 years?
Nope, he didn't get to see his wife and children for 6 years.
His wife was probably banging someone else.
I don't know about that. And it would take him deeper into the crime underbelly than any outsider had ever gone before. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. It all started in the early months of 1976. In New York City, there were a ton of truck hijackings going on, about 5 to 6 a day. Can you believe that?
Well, yeah, because I guess a truck driver, they're probably getting paid a regular working wage, but it's probably easy to just take the truck. Like, hey, give me that truck. And you're like, all right, it's not my truck.
5 to 6 a day, that seems like excessive to me. Truck drivers would be making their deliveries of all types of goods, and then they would be held at gunpoint or sometimes shot by the mob, who would then take the truck and then sell the load to fences. Do you know what a fence is? A fence is...
It keeps people out of your area you don't want in.
No. In mob lingo, a fence is also known as a receiver, mover, or moving man. It's an individual...
The middleman who sells the shit.
Yeah, who knowingly buys stolen goods in order to later resell them for profit.
Oh, that's the guy. Because, I have friends, if I need something, I'm like, hey, do you know where to get? So, yeah, I got a guy.
Yeah. So that's I got a guy.
The mover is the guy.
He's a fence.
Hey, if anyone out there got a guy that can get a PS5, hit your boy up. I can't find one. I need a guy.
Well, so whenever we talk to our friends and they say, I got a guy, that's the equivalent of what in the mob is a fence.
Like when they say, oh, it fell off the truck.
Yeah.
That's where the expression came from.
That's where the expression came from. Fell off the truck.
Because it didn't fall off the truck. They took it off.
Exactly. So the FBI decided to start investigating, into these hijackings. And they would later call it Operation Sun Apple. They knew Joe
name.
What?
Sun Apple's a shit name.
Well, yeah, that was the name of the mission. They knew Joe Pistone was the man for the job. He had extensive undercover experience, and he'd been an agent for 15 years at this point. He worked only undercover for all kinds of criminal cases, prostitution rings, gambling cases, bank robberies. This is what he did. Like, he was really good at it. So first of all, how cool would it be to be an undercover agent? I feel like it would be really cool to form an identity, come up with a character, develop this character. It's like method acting almost, how these actors do, but then you live that life of this character.
It depends what it is. If you got to be away from people for such a long time, but if you got to go into a card game, pretend to play cards and stuff, that's fine.
True. I do feel like, though, if you're doing something deep undercover like what he did, where do you cut off? Where does Joe Pistone begin again? Where does Donnie Brasco end and Joe begin? Late at night when he's laying in bed, is he now Joe Pistone? He can't talk to his family. He's not allowed to talk to them.
Would you be okay with me doing an undercover thing for 6 years?
Hell no.
Yeah, so him and his wife
Well, they're still together to this day, so.
Probably 'cause they didn't get annoyed of each other because they weren't together that much. It's true. You're together a lot. You probably, like, I'm tired of his shit.
It's true.
Jess is laughing because she's tired of my shit.
I'm tired of your shit. No, but honestly, I feel like being an undercover agent would be such a cool job to have this character. You're like kind of like an actor, but you're, fighting crime. But then at the same time,
fighting crimes with Batman.
but then at the same time, you build relationships with these people. Like you form friendships.
You might like some of them.
And how do you it's probably tough on the psyche. Like how do you I guess it's probably a better job for a man, to be honest, because men are so good at compartmentalizing things and women are not. Like, we're very emotional creatures. Everything's tangled together. We mix things all up. So I feel like an undercover job like this, only a man, obviously in this situation, only a man could have done this, but like...
Yes, maybe a woman's very emotional. They might be justifying why they're doing it, but he's so sweet. He really had to bust him in the head.
Exactly. So, just to tell you a little bit about Joe. Joe grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, and he was aware of the mob as a kid and as a teenager, and he knew mob dudes in the neighborhood, just like, you know mob dudes in the neighborhood.
I don't know, maybe.
You do, because I do. So, we know people in the neighborhood. And
I still don't have a PS5. They don't got a guy. What the hell?
And, since he was around this growing up, and he's from New Jersey, he worked in New York. He's really good at putting this role on, playing this character. He knows how these guys act. I'm sure if you, being somebody from the Bronx and growing up around these people, if you were put in this position, you'd probably play the character pretty well too, because you know where their mind is and the way they think.
It usually seems like they're overcompensating. Like that some people are turning it on so much, like trying to act extra tough, and it's always the you don't know who I am? Like, I hate that line.
Yeah, that's true.
My response is always, no, tell me. It's like, what if I don't?
Well, the FBI had to come up with a character for him to play to get to the fences. And they decided that he would be a jewel thief. And his name, which is now living in infamy, would be Donnie Brasco. So they chose a jewel thief because when you're undercover, you're not allowed to engage in any violence at all. So they wanted a character who was more about his money and less about being violent or hostile. He's just more about making money. So that's kind of why they chose this jewel thief route. So Joe prepared for this mission by going to school for 6 to 7 months. He learned all about jewels, precious gems, and how to commit burglary, break into locks, break into buildings, break into safes.
Wow, they made him a thief.
Yeah, like they literally taught him how to be a thief and how to be an expert with jewels and precious gems. So in late 1976, Joe kissed his wife Maggie and children goodbye and left for his mission. The FBI sent his wife and children to an undisclosed part of the country for protection. They got Joe an apartment in the city and an apartment in Florida, and they got him a new ID and credit cards and a totally new identity. Armed with his new identity, Joe, a.k.a. Donnie, had to find a way to start a conversation with mob associates and get his name spread around throughout the crime family. Joe says in an interview, you can't just walk into a place and say, hey, my name's Donnie Brasco. I'm a jewel thief. I want to do business with you.
No.
You can't do that. So he has to figure out a way to kind of just have his face seen and get in there and have people talking about him. So he decided to start frequenting certain bars and restaurants where known wise guys would hang out and discuss business. He wanted his face seen with hopes of eventually striking up a conversation. He did this for 6 whole months, which is like originally what the mission was supposed to be, was
Wow.
6 months. He did this just going from bar to bar, restaurant to restaurant.
That's the best
6
job
months.
ever. You get paid for 6 months straight to go to restaurants and bars. I'm in.
Well, for the first 6 months, every single night, he would go to a few different places on the Upper West Side and on Mulberry Street in Little Italy. He would sit at the bar.
That's the fake Little Italy.
Yeah, that's
The
true.
real one's in the Bronx and off the Avenue.
Yeah,
Don't go there, though, if you're not from the Bronx.
There's 2 Little Italys.
Just because we don't want you there.
For people who don't know.
because a lot of people don't know this. There's 2 Little Italies. There's the one that's very touristy down on Mulberry Street. But I'm sure in the 70s, it is where the mob dudes hung out.
Probably before
Tourists.
all the hipsters got here and stuff. Like the tourists that got here decided to stay.
True.
But now they left because of COVID. New York's getting a little more gritty, hopefully, again. Bring it back.
Well, there's another Little Italy, and everyone here calls it the real, quote-unquote, real Little Italy, and it's in the Bronx, and it's on Arthur Avenue.
It's kind of in the hood. Like the hood is like a block away. Like Fordham Road is no joke.
So, anyway, he would hang out on the Upper West Side and then on Mulberry Street in Little Italy, and he would sit at a bar, order dinner and a drink, and hang out for a few hours. He would maybe chat up the bartender a little bit, and then he would leave. And he did this every single night, 7 days a week for 6 months. And according to Pistone...
That's crazy.
I know.
Tax dollars. He probably was getting filet mignon. He was getting everything, this rat bastard.
Bro.
That's the stimulus I need. Send me that where I get to go to restaurants every day.
According to Pistone, you can't form a pattern. You can't go in the same place on the same day. So you can't go, okay, Monday I'm going this place. Tuesday I'm going this place. So he had to randomize it because you don't want to look like you're forming any type of pattern or people are going to think, what's going on with this guy. So for him, it was very repetitive work. He says he's not a bar guy. He's not somebody who likes to drink a lot. So this was a job to him. Like, although you would find it fun.
Woe was me. Break out the world's smallest violin.
But he said it was just something he tolerated. And he just kept trying to find a way to get in. So finally, after 6 months of frequenting the bars, he decided to target one of the bartenders at one of the restaurants that he suspected of having criminal connections. He came in one night. It was a typical routine. He sat at the bar, ordered a dinner, ordered a drink, and then he decided it was time to really make a move because it had been 6 months. It's time to let's do something. So he pulled out a bag of diamonds and he'd emptied it on the bar and he said to the bartender, I need $10,000 for these. The bartender didn't say a word. He just picked up the bag, looked left, looked right, put it in his pocket, and then Donnie left the bar. Days went by.
But he had to have known that bartender a little. Like, this isn't...
No, for 6 months, he'd been seeing him multiple times a week.
If you give me a bag of diamonds, I could get $10,000 for it, even if I don't know anyone, because they're worth a certain amount.
Well, I guess after 6 months of being a regular at this bar, and chatting up the bartender. I mean, you know our regular. Listen, me and Russ, we used to work at a bar together at in the Bronx. I'm sure there's people listening who used to frequent this bar.
Shout out to you, weirdos.
I'm
one of them.
We worked for 3 years at a bar in the Bronx, and the same regulars came all the time, multiple times a week. And you
fight the same people. They would fight the same people every week. It was like a Royal Rumble. They'd they would do push-ups all week, put on their tightest T-shirt to come in and fight the same guy.
Well, you know how it is, though, with these regulars. They become friends with, after just 6 months of seeing the same regulars multiple times a week, we knew them very well.
Not all of them want to fight everybody, but yeah, it's true. I'm still friends with some of them today.
Yeah, me too. We're still friends. We still talk to them all the time on Facebook and Instagram, and some of them listen to the podcast.
I still hang out with some of them.
Yeah, so I'm sure after 6 months of him being a regular there, he got to know a little about this bartender, and he realized that the bartender had some type of connection.
Well, to my regulars, you really need to step your game up. You never gave me diamonds. You guys tipped me well, but I wanted a bag of diamonds.
Well, he handed him a bag of diamonds, and he said, I need $10,000 for these. The bartender didn't say a word. Like I said, looked left, looked right, put it in his pocket, and then Donnie left the bar. Days went by, and he even came back to the bar a few times, and neither man mentioned the diamonds. They didn't talk about it. But about 2 weeks later, Donnie walks into the bar, sits down, and the bartender discreetly hands him an envelope. Someone left this for you, he said. Donnie grabs it, looks in the envelope, and there's all the money in there that he asked for.
In my mind, he's in Arthur Avenue, but I know he's in Manhattan, probably.
Yeah, I think he was on Mulberry Street. So now it's established. Nobody had to say anything, but it's established that Donnie Brasco is a jewel thief. This is just an unspoken thing.
So he probably wanted $10,000 for probably $40,000 worth of diamonds, knowing that he's able to sell them cheaper because he steals them. That's probably what happened.
So over the next few months, the bartender starts inviting Donnie out and introduces him to numerous contacts. He took him to after-hours places all over the city.
It's so funny.
I'm just thinking about the after-hours place that we went to. When me and Russ first started dating, we went to this after-hours place, and it was in this business building. We both had never been there before, in Koreatown, and people told us to go. We went with a group of people from our work, and we were making out in the bathroom, and they had to bang on the bathroom door to get us to get out.
When Jess used to like me.
Stop. Those after-hours places were crazy. Remember it was like $9 for an Amstel Light?
I thought it was more than that because that's the average going price. It was like $20.
That's true. It was expensive.
Yeah,
but it was like a club in there. It was literally 7 a.m., and it's dark with lights going, with club music.
Well, you had to know people to get in. What would happen is it'd be in a building that looks like an office building. You push the button of the elevator. It takes you up to the floor. The elevator opens, and now all of a sudden you're in a club, which would be an office space probably. And they ask you who you here with or who do you know, and that's the only way you could get in.
It's true.
You got to have a guy.
Yeah, you got to have a guy. True. So he would hang out in places like this, in these after-hours spots, with the bartender and other contacts. And that's how he started getting his name known with these people. So one night, the bartender introduces Donnie to a guy named Jilly. He was a truck hijacker, but he was also a made man. Russ, what's a made man?
It's like you're made, like you're not a boss, but like you're part of the family.
Yeah, you're somebody who's officially inducted into the mafia. So the mafia rankings are, you're an associate of the mob or one of the crime families. You might be a hitman, you might do jobs for them, but you're not necessarily made. A made man is when all the bosses have to decide that you're worthy of being part of the family, and then you get inducted into the family.
Yeah, I think then you could have like workers. It's kind of like Amway, there's like levels. It's like a pyramid scheme, and you got to kick money up. Everybody kicks money up to the top.
Exactly. Everybody has to bring some money in.
It's the original Amway. Now Amway's scamming people and Herbalife and all these schemes. If you ever selling none of this stuff, don't hit me up.
Well, so he was a made man. And there's also some rules that come along with being a made man. Like, in order to become a made man, you have to kill somebody. And if someone hits a made man, you get killed. I didn't know this, but they can execute you for just punching a made man in the face.
Well, you better hit him hard so he don't remember.
True. So now the FBI gets the news that not only has Pistone met one of the hijackers, but he's become acquaintances with a known made man. This changes the entire operation. This is where everything shifts. And they realize this is going to be a lot bigger than they originally thought. They encourage Pistone to get in with this guy, become his friend, hang out with him. So that's what he does. Joe had to prove to the men that Donnie was an earner and he had ability to bring in money because, like you just said, everybody's kicking money up to the top. That's how it works.
Yeah, you get a piece.
They don't just want to be your friend. You got to bring something to the table. So the FBI needed to give him a lot more jewelry, a lot more money, and a lot more things to show that he's a legit jewel thief.
Oh, that had to be fun. Pull up in like a nice-ass car.
So he brought around a lot of really nice, expensive watches, like Rolexes. What's the other nice watch that people like?
Breitling.
Oh, yeah, Breitlings, yeah. He brought around these expensive, nice watches, and over a few weeks, he starts to convince these guys that he's a legit jewel thief. And the men start asking Donnie to help them with burglaries that they have going on. But as an FBI agent, he walks a fine line of playing a criminal and actually being one. So for a while, he kept dodging them. He kept saying, oh, no, I can't help you with that. I can't break into that type of security system. Or, oh, no, I can't be there. I'm doing another job or whatever.
Yeah.
So he kept dodging them. But after a while, they get mad. So Jilly and two other gangsters, a guy named Frankie and a guy named Patsy, call Donnie in for a meeting. Frankie puts his gun on the table and he says to Donnie, look, you need to convince me that you really are a good jewel thief. And if you don't convince me, the only way you're getting out of this room is rolled up in that rug.
That's very aggressive.
Yeah. So they begin.
Why do they care if he's a good jewel thief?
Because they don't believe. I think they're starting to question, is
Like-
this guy really legit, or is he some type of informant or something?
Yeah, that makes sense because like I steal jewels, but I don't want to steal them for you.
Yeah, but I think that
I steal them for me.
But you know how the mob is and these type of people are. Like, it's all about loyalty and there's a lot of jealousy going on. I feel like they probably are starting to question him and his legitimacy if he's not coming around and helping them with stuff.
I guess it depends on how he was hanging out with them. Like, how deep was he going to their house, or was it just like a bar friend and they'd see him at the bar and they'd bullshit? It depends.
It seems like they were hanging out more than just occasionally.
Yeah.
So anyway, he says, your only way you're getting out of this room is if you're rolled up in that rug. So they began to question him on all the details of his life, of his past, and they interrogated him for 5 hours. Eventually, Jilly was convinced and told the other guys to stop asking him questions. In this moment, Pistone had a decision to make. He realized the only way that they were going to believe that he was really Donnie Brasco is if he showed force, and if he stooped to their level and acted how they would act. So,
I don't like saying that stoop to their level. He's no better than them. They're just doing their job. He's doing his.
That's true. That's the wrong way to say it. He wanted to show them, like, maybe not stoop to their level.
That he's willing to do things that are illegal.
No, he wanted to show force to them, like, to show how one of them would act in this situation. Like, you're interrogating me for 5 hours. You're trying to call me out, call out my legitimacy, call out my character. And he wanted to show that it's messed up to do.
Yeah, because, all right, so like stoop down. They might be better people than him.
True, you're completely right. That was my bad. So he punches Frankie in the face.
Was that the maid man?
No. He punches the not made man in the face and starts wailing on him, beats the shit out of him. So Patsy, who is a made man, jumps on top of him and starts punching him in the head. But Joe knows that he's a made guy and he'll die if he hits him, so he just keeps punching Frankie until someone breaks up the fight. But this establishes Donnie's credibility on the streets. It shows that he's a tough guy, that he's not, he's legit to them, and that he's a tough guy and he's not going to put up with any of their bullshit. But it also gives him an opportunity to kind of distance himself from these guys. So he can, say, he told Jilly, with all due respect, I don't want to deal with these guys anymore. And he kind of distances himself from the violent burglaries.
So Jilly's the maid man.
Jilly's one of the made men, yeah.
Okay. And Frankie was the chump that got beat up.
Yep. And then
Okay.
Patsy was another made man who he didn't hit but kept hitting him.
Okay, got it.
You guys already know because we have been talking about them for a while now. Via Hemp is by far one of our favorite sponsors we've ever had, okay? We use their products all the time. Maybe you're a little like me. You're a little anxious. You have a hard time settling down. You're kind of wound up a lot. If that's you, Via Hemp products are for you. Check out their website. You will find something that speaks to you. Maybe you're like Russ. You have a hard time sleeping because you have bad nerve pain or chronic pain. Then Via Hemp is for you because their gummies will help you get some quality sleep. Maybe you're looking to have a really good time. Maybe you just really like edibles. You want to laugh. You want to get the munchies. You want to watch a movie and have a really strong belly laugh. Then Via Hemp products are for you, okay? They're literally for everybody. So head over to viahemp.com, promo code wifeofcrime1 to get 15% off your first order. That's viahemp.com, wifeofcrime1 for 15% off your first order. Last year, Save More Money was the most popular New Year's resolution in America. Clearly, a lot of us feel like our money is slipping through our fingers. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm not the best saver, and I don't know much about investing until I started saving and investing with Acorns. Turns out you don't have to be an expert at all because Acorns will recommend a diversified portfolio that fits you and your money goals. And I always thought that when people say, ooh, I invest in stocks, that they had a ton of money or something. Well, you don't need to be rich. Acorns lets you invest with the spare money you've got right now. You can literally start with $5. And you know you guys are spending that at Starbucks on these fancy lattes. So skip the coffee and invest with Acorns. You don't even need a ton of time. Like, you can just sign up and start investing within 5 minutes. Head over to acorns.com/wifeofcrime or download the Acorns app to start saving and investing for your future today. That's acorns.com/wifeofcrime.
So Jilly, agrees with him. Cool, you don't want to deal with these guys. That's fine. He introduces him to a couple of other guys he knows from the Bananno crime family. A guy named Tony Mira. Tony was a drug dealer and a really mean dude. He made a lot of money for the crime family, but he was just a mean dude. He didn't have any friends. He was just a jerk. But the big break happened in 1978 when Mira introduced Donnie to a guy named Lefty Ruggiero. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Lefty was a really interesting dude. He was an ultimate gangster. He was a hitman for the mob, and he had about 23 hits to his name at this point. Lefty was also a walking mob encyclopedia. He was like the gossip girl of the mob. He knew all the tea. He knew all the gossip. Who was fighting with who? Well, who was on this job? Who was on that job? And he loved to talk about it because he just loved being a mafia guy. And he just had that, macho bravado.
There's a lot of guys like that around here, too. Like, even if they know someone that's in the mafia, they think they're mafia and cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've even seen people that bought them little cappuccino shops just to hang out in them. They wasn't doing nothing.
Just hanging out, sipping cappuccino and playing cards.
Yeah, and they was fat, and they had stale cookies in there and stuff. Or they're not stale. It's like the equivalent of kettle chips. Like, Jeff loves kettle chips. Them joints are always stale as hell. Like, they have the stale little cakes.
Well, anyway, Lefty is that type of guy. Like, he knows all the mob news. He's up on all the gossip. And it was really good for the FBI because they're getting more information now than they've ever gotten before about these guys. Like, no one's ever been this deep before. So no one really knew the inner workings of who these bosses were, who was running shit. No one knew any of that. And it was good for them because now they could start to focus on who the bosses were and stop focusing on these small guys on the bottom doing all the grunt work.
Instead of getting the low-level dudes.
Mm-hmm.
But, I always wonder, like, even with drugs, crime families, you take down the top guy, that doesn't mean the organization is over. That just means there's going to be a new top guy. Like, how much good goes into taking down the top guy? It's just going to be a new top guy.
Yeah, that's true. I guess it depends on if you can take down a lot of top guys at once.
Well, then you promote all the littler guys.
Maybe. So Donnie worked exclusively as Lefty's partner. Lefty was a part of a crew led by one of the most notorious captains in the Bananno crime family. His name was Dominic Sonny Black Napolitano. We'll call him Sonny Black because that's a long name. Sonny Black was his little, like, Jimmy Two Soups. This is Dominic Sonny Black.
Maybe when it was sunny out, he wore black.
Maybe.
Like, hey, it's sunny out. Why you always wearing black? Fucking Sonny Black over here. That's how the nicknames come about.
That is true.
And then they last forever.
That does sound like that. So Sonny Black had about 15 made guys under him and about 20 to 30 associates that worked under the direction of the crime family. He was a high-ranking family member. Donnie started hanging out at a social club, like the ones we've been talking about, at a social club every day with these guys, and it was called the Motion Lounge in Brooklyn.
Can't lie, I want to open a social club. Hang out, chill.
Yeah, I mean, it does sound fun.
They're like, hey, you got a coffee? Nah, we don't sell nothing here. We're just trying to find PS5s.
So this was exciting for the FBI because, like I said, they really got to know, a lot more information than they ever knew. They started gathering info on upcoming jobs, corrupt cops, corrupt politicians, and he was able to gather all the info on the upper echelons. Like, they didn't even know these big bosses existed until he started hanging out at this social club.
Mm.
So the FBI realized the 5 individual families actually worked together and that the mob spread across the country, all the way to LA, to Canada, to Florida.
Canada mob?
Yes. The crime family.
They got Italians in Canada?
Shut up.
I didn't know.
What do you think?
I thought it was just like
French Canadian?
There you go.
Yeah, there's French people in Canada, but there's also all different types of people with different backgrounds who immigrated to North America.
Yeah, but an Italian person can't be like, "You're gonna give me the cannoli, eh?" You can't do that. Like in my mind, all Italian people have New York accents.
But that's not true.
Except the ones in Italy that have Italian accents. They can't have like...
No, but I'm from Baltimore. My family is Italian. My grandmother does not, my Mimi does not have a New York accent. And she's 100% Italian.
Yeah, Mimi sounds like she's from the
Italian.
South.
Yeah, because we're not, I'm not going.
And that's only like 3 hours away from New York.
So, So Donnie set up a meeting with a boss in Milwaukee. The first time an FBI agent has ever set up a meeting with a mob boss, which was huge. So the FBI decided they wanted to try and get more info in Florida. So they opened up a club in Fort Lauderdale, and Donnie asked Sonny Black if he wanted to invest.
It's called Bada Bing, guarantee.
No. Sonny Black flew to Miami to meet with the big boss of the local mafia in Miami, Santo Trafficante. And they decided to invest together into this club that the FBI built, which is crazy, right?
Wow.
Yeah, the back office was rigged with mics and cameras. And the FBI was just watching them do all these drug deals, listen in on all these jobs they were doing. The name of the club was the King's Court. Donnie Brasco and other undercover agents made lots of drug deals in the back with the guys just to rack up charges on them. Sonny Black was happy. So now Donnie moved up in the ranks and no longer needed to report to Lefty Ruggiero anymore. He could report directly to Sonny Black. Donnie and Sonny became close. And Donnie would even stay at Sonny's house. They actually became friends.
But not really. That's messed up.
I know. That's what I was saying.
You probably actually had like real good times with the guy too, you know? Like,
yeah.
I don't know, he went to cannoli eating contests and stuff to see who eat the most on an Italian holiday.
Well, one of the things that I found interesting in the interview is when he's talking, because I got my information from a couple documentaries and interviews with him and the movie and, a bunch of different sources. And one of the things he says is like, Sonny is actually a guy that he could hang out with. Like they would hang out, they would talk mob stuff, they would talk about jobs, but then they would actually just talk about life.
Yeah, because you can't always talk about business or like asking questions because then you're going to be fishy. You got to talk about the football game or, your kid's graduation or, just stuff.
Well, Sonny was an interesting dude. He had an obsession with pigeons. And on the roof of his apartment building...
Like Mike Tyson, my guy.
Yeah, he had an obsession with pigeons. On the roof of his apartment building was a huge pigeon coop with tons of cages. And he was obsessed. So he would always go up there with Sonny to feed the pigeons. And he knew like everything about pigeons. He was like an encyclopedia of pigeons. So he would talk to him about them. And, one thing that Joe says in the interview is, I always thought once those pigeon coops come down, that Sonny Black is gone because he was obsessed with his pigeons.
And freaking Donnie Brasco was a stool pigeon. He didn't know about that pigeon.
What's a stool pigeon?
Someone that tells.
Oh, really? I never heard of that.
It might be someone that's in jail that tells, but it's like definitely someone that tells, a stool pigeon.
That
doesn't mean you're pooping.
Okay, I didn't know what a stool pigeon was.
I'll look it up. Russ the researcher hasn't been around in a while.
I always thought that it was a rat.
Yeah, someone that tells. A rat?
Yeah. But it's also called a stool pigeon. Okay. Yeah. I didn't know that. All right. So Donnie and Sonny became close, and Donnie would even stay at his house sometimes. And through his friendship with Sonny, Donnie found out that...
Here you go. It's... Russ the researcher's gig is interrupting mid-story.
Okay.
So an Urban Dictionary, a stool pigeon is a person who might be a criminal or a spy sent by the police to act as an informant.
Wow.
So how poetic. So now the
mind blown.
Yes, so now they're going to use it in a sentence. I didn't read it yet. I'll read it. hey, keep your mouth shut around this prisoner. He might be a stool pigeon. And that's how they use it in a sentence.
Wow, that's crazy.
And another words for it is dirty rat, tattletale, snitch. There you go.
Wow, that is poetic. Because he was obsessed with pigeons and they became really close
And he
friends.
brought the stool pigeon, the one. So he brought the only pigeon he didn't have, and he brought him to the other pigeons.
Wow.
Birds of a feather flock together.
We're really on a thing right now. That's crazy,
Red
actually.
Wine Russ is very poetic.
He is. That's nuts, honestly. Especially as the story unfolds. That's crazy. So through his friendship with Sonny, Donnie found out that the mafia was importing drugs from Italy through off-the-boat Sicilian immigrants, and they called them Zips. Okay?
Huh.
They would distribute heroin through pizza shops all over New York City.
Wow.
So they would bring in these immigrants, they called them Zips, and the Zips would get jobs running the pizza shops. But while they're running the pizza shops, they're handing out heroin to drug dealers who are going and selling them on the street, bringing the money back to the pizza shop, and then the Zips are giving it back to the bosses.
Wow.
At this point...
I wonder how many pizza shops that I really liked were Zips.
Yeah, I know. I wondered that too. Like the dude down in the East Village.
That guy, Sal.
Yeah, Sal. I mean, he wasn't a Zip.
No, because probably not now, but...
No, Sal was raking in the dough.
This guy used cash only. This guy would walk out of there with wheelbarrows of money.
Yeah. It was a cash-only pizza shop in the middle of the East Village where all the bars were.
Always busy.
Lines out the door every night.
And the pizza was okay. It wasn't nothing stupendous, but if the hipsters see an old Italian guy behind the thing, they think it's authentic.
Well, it is authentic. Sal was a jerk, too. Remember? He was so mean.
Oh, he would rush everybody. That's why I loved him. I like when you rush me and get me out. I don't want to be in there talking to you, exchanging pleasantries.
That's true.
Get me out of here. Give me my pizza. I'm ready to go.
It's true. You are like that.
And then Jess would go and be like, he's so nice.
He was nice.
You actually had your tight pants on all up your butt and stuff.
Well, I was bartending down the street. He was nice, though, to me. So, okay. Get back to the story. So anyway, they would bring in these immigrants, and that's where they would sell their heroin. I thought that was nuts, because I did start thinking about, like, what pizza shops have I gone to? And, like, this could have been a hotbed for drug dealing.
I always thought it was the bodegas. It probably was the bodegas, too. Like, the bodegas, like, sold to the crackheads and shit.
Well, I feel like the mob just they ran so much. They ran everything. So at this point, Tony Mira, remember him? We didn't talk about him recently, but from a little while ago. Tony Mira, Donnie's first contact, who got him in contact with Lefty Ruggiero.
Yeah.
He was put in jail a few years back. He gets out of prison, and he's pissed that Donnie Brasco is working with Sonny and making so much money. So he says Donnie should be working for him instead, because he's the one that brought him in. He stages a meeting with Sonny and Lefty and petitions that Donnie should work with him instead, but they fight for him. And they have multiple meetings about this. This is like a ongoing thing.
Like, he's my guy. I brought him in.
Yeah, because he's making money for the family. So Tony wants him to work for him, and Sonny wants him to work for him. So I have a recording. I think these recordings are so cool. I have a recording because every time they would have a meeting, Lefty would call Donnie after the meeting and tell him what happened. So I have a recording of one of their phone calls.
Oh, nice.
Hey, Donnie, let me tell you something. I had a 4.5-hour meeting about you today.
For what?
Donnie, don't say for what.
Well, Left, you say don't say for what. How do I know? I don't even know what you're talking about.
I won you, and I'm going to keep you.
Well, that's right.
All right? I'm not giving you up, and so is Sonny. We own Donnie, and we giving up Rocky. Now, you give up my prick, I said. I won you. I'm not giving you up. I'll die with you.
Well, how does Sonny stand tonight with us?
What's he stand? He's not giving you up. Not giving you up. Ain't nobody having you.
Hey, I don't want no part of Mirror.
So you heard that? He was like, I die with you.
Yeah, I like how, I always forget, like, how in New York, we turn two words into one. It's not with you, it's with you.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, like...
But he really wanted him to keep working for him. You could tell that
because he's making him money, though. So,
but do you think that they actually cared about him a little bit? Like,
as if he was costing them money, they would probably stop caring about him. He cared in the moment because things were going well. It's like a good relationship.
Yeah,
things are going good. You're having fun. you know, and
Mm-hmm.
you're making babies. And next thing you know, all that stuff stops, and then you're like, this relationship sucks.
Well, I just feel like, I don't know. I maybe the woman in me is just like, maybe they looked at him as a friend, or maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe it was all about money and the fact that they had a good relationship. He was making them a lot of money. He got them introduced to this club that they thought was really legit down in Florida. They had, a lot of money coming in from that.
And they were, and as you're making money and things are going good, you're having a good time, so you are creating a bond. But once things start going bad,
That's true. So Mira decides to lie and accuse Donnie of stealing $250,000 from the family. That's big. That's a big, big accusation. This is huge, and it puts Joe Pistone's life literally on the line at this point. Because he could get shot at any time. If they think that he is stealing money from the family, that's a big deal.
take them out in a rug.
Exactly. So Mira calls a sit down. I didn't know this, but in mob lingo, a sit down is kind of like a trial. All the mob bosses come together from all over, and they have a trial about you, and they discuss everything who you are, what you've done for the family, and this accusation against you.
Like a jury.
Yeah, it's like a full-blown trial. So the bosses from all 5 families from New York, Florida, even Canada, all fly in and come together, and they talk about this accusation. And if he's found guilty, they'll execute him on the spot. And Joe says...
I wonder, when they say on the spot, they're just going to shoot him right there? Or are they going to, because it's going to make a mess?
Joe... Yeah, they're going to shoot
But that's why you don't shoot him right. You might have to do it in, a nice way. Nobody wants to clean up.
Oh, they don't care. They're going to shoot him.
That's true. The grunts will probably clean.
So Joe said in the interview, it's not like they let you go and get your affairs in order. He would have died.
Get here right now.
Yeah, that's it. Boom, you're dead.
They aren't on this date you have a trial and come prepared with your defenses.
Yeah, no, it's not like that at all.
And you don't get to bring a legal aid or nothing.
So Sonny spends 3 hours fighting for Donnie in this sit down. And I'm going to play another recording.
From the sit down?
No, it's Lefty.
Oh, that'd be crazy.
I don't have that. But it's Lefty calling Donnie after the sit down to talk to him.
Oh, I wish we had the sit down.
Me too.
Rocky admitted that you made $250,000.
Who did Rocky tell you?
After he married his men. Don't you understand?
He's a lying son of...
Fucking jerk off.
He's a lying son of... He's lying, Left.
I don't give a fuck.
He's a liar. I'd never cut any junk money up
But
with
your
him.
word don't fucking count.
Why does this guy want to,
He
start...
wants you bad.
So what do we do now?
I don't give a fuck, but you can't
I ain't
help
afraid
me
of
out.
anybody.
You can't help me out. I have to handle it. Without you.
But I ain't afraid of Mira either. When's this thing all going to end with this
It
guy?
ain't gonna end.
Yeah, so that was the phone call. And then after that phone call, Sonny, that's when he spent 3 hours fighting for Donnie. And then Sonny Black wins the sit down and his life was spared.
Sonny was his lawyer.
Yeah.
He's a Johnny Cochran of the mob.
Well, Sonny was the guy he was working for. And, he was bringing him lots of money. He's the one with the pigeon coop.
Yeah.
So the FBI...
He saved his pigeon.
He did. He saved his pigeon. Yep. So the FBI decides that this is getting too dangerous and they want to pull him. But Pistone convinces the FBI that he can handle himself and he can continue. He's 5 years in at this point. He's pretty deep.
They want to pull me. I'd okay. I still get paid the same.
This is where I started.
Unless he gets paid by the hour and he's working 24 hours a day making
Russ,
overtime.
This is not a job like that. This is a lifestyle. This is not like a regular job where he's just worried about money. This is where I think, it gets a little far as his
he thinks
character.
he's a guy now. He thinks he's one of them.
But I don't think he wants to be one of them. I think he wants to catch them he wants to keep getting in deeper. He's addicted to getting in deeper and deeper and deeper. He wants to get all the way to the top, I feel like, because he feels like I got in so deep over this time. I can keep going.
I don't know. I think he probably likes the thrill of feeling like he's a crime guy.
Maybe.
And he likes the thrill because he gets to play all the games with them without actually taking the risk of prison. So he's actually a mafia dude. I get to enjoy the lifestyle. He probably has the ladies. His wife, if you listen to this, he had the ladies guaranteed. And He got the ladies, he got the cars, he got he got jewelry.
Mm-hmm.
So like he's living this lifestyle without the fear of the consequences.
That's
and
a
he's
good
probably
point.
loving this.
Maybe. It's a good point, but I also feel like as a law enforcement person, he's done it undercover for 15 years. This isn't his first job.
Yeah, but if he was playing a crackhead buying crack every day, he would give it up. Like, walking around shaking in the South Bronx in the cold with a coat that's 2 sizes too small and Timberland boots with your toes hanging out with no shoelaces in them. He would have been like, all right, you guys want to pull me off this job? I'm in. So he's having a good-ass time.
Maybe you're right. I don't know. So they think it's too dangerous, but he convinces them to let him stay in. By the end of 1980, the King's Court had planned an illegal Las Vegas gambling night. The bosses flew down for the event, and they paid off the local sheriff in Miami. They said, look the other way, here's some cash, whatever. Everything was going great for the first few hours, but then suddenly the club was raided by the local police, and Sonny was taken to jail. He was bailed out the next morning, but he was furious, and he was convinced there was a rat in his midst. Which, Donnie didn't rat on him, but he is actually the rat.
He's a rat.
You're a rat.
R.I.P. Big Ange.
Big Ange.
You're a rat.
We got to put up we have to put up a meme of her.
That's from Mob Wives, right?
From Mob Wives. I actually know people I work with who are born and raised in Staten Island who know Big Ange and say she was literally the nicest lady.
Oh, she was the best. She was like a pioneer of the plastic surgery for the Italian women.
She was so funny.
You're a rat. I love that.
You do the impression so good.
Her voice was so deep from all them cigarettes.
Yeah. If you don't know who Big Ange is, you got to look it up.
Super funny. She owned a bar in Staten Island, little bar. I don't know much about her besides that. And I watched a few episodes of
Mob Wives.
The Mob Wives.
Yeah, she was so funny. So, he's not the rat, but now Sonny knows there's a rat around him.
And that's the worst thing you could be called is a rat.
Yeah.
Dead instant.
So after flying back to New York, Sonny, already suspicious of there being a rat, saw a picture in the newspaper of a boat that the FBI used in an undercover sting operation that led to the arrest of some local corrupt politicians. But the boat was the same one that Donnie Brasco had borrowed in Miami to take Sonny on a fishing trip to impress him.
I wonder if it was like the same name or they changed the name. Or
It's just the same looking boat. I don't know if they changed the name. I'm not sure.
But they must have left the same name because a lot of boats look like, there's a 10,000 red Honda Accords. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it might have been the same name.
It could have been.
Dumbasses.
So Lefty demanded to know how Donnie got a hold of this FBI boat. But he played it off. And he convinced him, listen, I borrowed the boat from this girl. This girl got it from one of her family members. How am I supposed to know that the FBI used this boat for a job? Like, I didn't know that. I just borrowed it from this girl that I knew, that I, was sleeping with before. And he convinced Lefty that he had nothing to do with this FBI job, that it was just a coincidence, and Lefty bought it because he trusted him.
Damn, Lefty.
Mm-hmm.
Looking through rose-colored glasses.
Yep. So Sonny Black then proposed Donnie Brasco to become a made man.
Whew! That's
big.
Yeah, he got far.
Really far. So he went to all...
He should have quit the police and just became a made man. Like, I'm out. I ain't telling you guys nothing. That's it.
Well, he went to all the other captains.
It's better than being a cop.
Well, I mean, I don't know. Why is it better? He has the chance of risking his life. His wife is across the country hidden somewhere. He hasn't seen her for 6 years. It's not better.
Being a cop is a shitty job. People hate you and shit. Like, that's terrible. I wouldn't want to be a cop.
Well, anyway, Sonny Black.
And they don't even get paid enough for, like, all the death they can go through and fuck that.
Well, he's an FBI. I don't know how much FBI people make, especially like an undercover agent.
I wouldn't be in the FBI either unless I was in the X-Files, like, looking for aliens.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
So he went to all the other captains, Sonny, went to all the other captains, and no one opposed.
Wow, he's about to be made.
So they're ready to make him, okay? The FBI is weary, because to become a made man, you'd have to kill someone. It's one of the rules. And if he doesn't do that, he can't become inducted. 2 years earlier, Sonny Black had also taken part in a murder of a boss in his own family.
I have a question.
What?
So to become a made man, you have to kill someone.
Mm-hmm.
So does that mean you have killed someone in the past, or you got to kill a new person?
Not sure.
All right.
Not sure about that. Something I'd have to look into.
I do have a guy I could call.
You do got a guy. It's true.
Wonder if we could call him.
I don't know.
Put him on the podcast. I didn't know I'd have this question. We could have called him.
I don't know if he'll want to be on the podcast talking about these types of things.
Maybe he could talk with a raspy voice.
We could
Hello.
put a filter on his voice. Okay, so anyway, 2 years earlier, Sonny Black had also taken part in the murder of a boss in his own crime family. His name was Carmine Galante. Have you heard of him?
No.
I had. And this caused a civil war in the Bananno crime family. And as violence was escalating, the FBI started to worry that Donnie would be caught in the crossfire. So Sonny gave all his men guns. Like, they were ready to just, start fighting all these random people. But it was when Sonny ordered Donnie Brasco to take out a guy that the FBI was like, okay, this is too far. We got to stop this. It was a rival boss, and Sonny had instructed Donnie that he needed to kill him. So they came up with a plan where they would meet, where the rival boss was, and Donnie would go there, but the FBI would intersect and arrest him instead of Donnie killing him.
Arrest Donnie.
Arrest both of them.
Arrest the guy he had to kill, too.
So that Sonny would think that he was going to kill him, but then the FBI intersected and arrested him.
Yo, that's pretty slick.
But it ended up not happening, and the FBI decided it was too far, it was too dangerous, and they ordered to pull him out. He wasn't happy about it, but in 1982, Operation Sunapple came to an end.
Oh, because he was going to have to kill someone.
Yeah.
So he was in. He wanted to continue to do this because there was no consequence to being in the glamorous mafia. He was going to kill the guy and everything if they would let him.
He wasn't going to kill him. He was going to have, the FBI was going to intersect, and they were going to arrest him.
But I bet he would have, because he'd be like, hey, I could kill someone and get away with it to keep me in mafia.
I don't think he would have killed him.
I think you're a fraud, Donnie.
I don't think he would have
What's his real name?
him. Joe Pistone.
I don't like you.
I'm interested to hear why, but let me finish. So 2 weeks later, 2 FBI agents met with Lefty and Sonny and showed them a picture of 2 of them standing with a third guy. And they said, you know him as Donnie Brasco, but in fact, he's an FBI agent. And Sonny didn't believe it.
Wow, because they were that close. Because he was going to go kill someone for him, too.
Yeah, like, he didn't believe it. He literally was just like, nah, that's not true. They're just trying to get me to talk. So Sonny eventually started realizing the truth. And he began to realize his fate in the family, because Sonny is the guy that brought him in. Like, he's the guy that really brought him in, got him in deep with everybody. And he was the one that wanted to make him into a made man.
And this is going to ruin his reputation, and he's probably done because you recommended him to be a made man.
Oh, yeah, he's finished.
So his life is finished as well.
So instead of calling the FBI to make a deal, Sonny didn't call the FBI to make a deal. He laid low, and then he was called into a meeting with the other bosses.
Dead.
Sonny went to the bar, handed the bartender his rings, his gun, his wallet, and he says, I'm going to a meeting. I don't know if I'm coming back.
Wow. I feel bad for Sonny.
A few weeks later, Sonny Black's body was found in the East River,
man.
And his hands were cut off. The mob closed in on everyone that had been involved with Donnie Brasco.
Yo, Donnie's a piece of shit.
They killed Sonny Black. They killed Tony Mira.
He's as guilty for murder right there. You might as well just shot someone. The FBI wouldn't let him kill someone, but you just killed that guy. Whether or not you physically did it, you killed him. So fuck you, FBI and Donnie Schmani.
Well, they killed Sonny Black. They killed Tony Mira. They killed Jilly. The FBI learned Lefty Ruggiero was called to a meeting, so they intercepted and arrested him instead, so that he wouldn't get killed. Over the next few years, the FBI brought charges on everybody. Joe Pistone testified in over 17 trials and convicted 230 individuals. They took down the entire Milwaukee and Florida crime families. Lefty Ruggiero spent 15 years in prison. And they pretty much dismantled the Bananno crime family.
I wonder where Lefty Ruggiero is today. I'm going to look him up.
I don't know. But today, the mafia has a $500,000 bounty on Pistone's head. To this day.
That's it?
Yeah. To this day,
get your chips up. Make it happen. 500 ain't enough. There's inflation.
Joe Pistone, his wife Maggie, and their 3 children live in an undisclosed location under different identities.
Wow.
And that's the story of Donnie Brasco.
I don't like him.
I was going to ask you how you felt about it. So let's break this down for a second. When I was watching the documentaries that I watched about this case, part of me kind of didn't like it either, because in the end of the day, he's treating this as a job. And I'm not saying, but we have to look at both sides. I'm such a devil's advocate person, because when you look at both sides of this, yes.
Is that why you always disagree with me on everything?
Yeah, because I like to see all sides. Okay.
How about you see my side?
So Joe Pistone is an FBI agent. He goes into this job knowing that he's going in to convict criminals who are bad people who do bad things.
I think he crossed lines.
Well, I'm not finished.
Go ahead.
He's going in to convict bad people who do bad things to other people. They extort people. They kill people all the time. They put hits on people all the time.
True.
They steal from small businesses. Like, it's not.
So they're
like,
not good people
The mob is cool. I love learning about the mob. It's cool. It's a whole different world. But at the end of the day, it's not like they're good. They don't do good things for society. They do good things for themselves.
But Joe Pistone didn't do good things either. To me, he single-handedly got these guys killed. So whether or not he pulled the trigger or not, you got them killed. And you're going to...
But I agree with you.
He's going to deflect and say whatever he has to say to make him feel that he did it as a cop or FBI, whatever. I don't care about the lingo. So he's just as guilty as murder. He killed these guys. He knew exactly what he was doing.
Yeah.
And he knew when they found out these guys were going to get killed. So you're no better, you piece of shit.
Yeah. Well,
you're just the same.
I see that side too, because when I was watching the documentary, I legit felt bad. Like at the end, I felt bad for Sonny, who had to walk into this meeting knowing he's about to die, knowing that a guy he brought into his house and he showed his pigeons.
And he was only trying to do the right thing. I mean, I don't know how many bad things he did, but he was befriending someone, and the guy was making the money too, but he was befriending someone, letting him into his family, probably ate food with his kids at the table, stuff like that. Like,
I know. It's a tough call.
Joe's a clown.
Well,
because he's a serial killer.
He didn't do it though. I don't know. It is a tough call to.
These other guys are no good too, but being.
Yeah, because they're not good people. It's not like he killed a bunch of innocent people. He killed people who also kill people. Like.
Well, they're all no good, but I don't like the FBI playing like the word game of you can't kill anyone. We could do this until you're about to kill someone, but you're still killing people indirectly, which is very direct to me.
Yeah. Well, I was interested to hear how you'd feel about it.
He got me upset.
I know. I can tell you're a little upset.
I didn't like that.
But it's still a good story.
No, it was a good story because I got emotional.
All right. Well, that's the story of Donnie Brasco.
All right, guys. So that was a good one. Let us know what you thought on Wife of Crime Pod on Instagram. And don't forget, check out the Patreon at patreon.com/wifeofcrimepod. And I don't have anything else.
Yeah, that's it. All right. Well, until next time, 2 weeks from now.
All right, folks.
Bye.
Peace.